Morning children. Today class for 10th class. Subject is biological science. Children, we are discussing about the transportation, the circulatory system. In previous we are discussing about the various type of transportation systems or circulatory systems in different type of group of organisms. Today we are discussing about the topic blood pressure. So already you know the term about the blood pressure. We commonly called as nothing but BP. Okay. So when you visit the doctor at the time, the doctor measure the your blood pressure on the upper arm artery, on the upper arm artery by using that instrument called as a sphygmomanometer. By using sphygmomanometer, so the instrument or the equipment that is used to measure the blood pressure. Okay, the equipment or instrument that is used to measure the blood pressure is called as sphygmomanometer. So what is the meaning of blood pressure? Normally the blood is pumped by the heart. So when the ventricles are filled the means when the ventricles are filled with blood, they immediately pumps the blood into artery. So the force that is generated by the blood when the ventricles pump the blood into the artery is called as blood pressure. After that one, again the force is dropped in the ventricles. Why? Because some time taken to refill the blood in the ventricles. So the force is generated when the ventricles pump the blood into the arteries. The force is generated. The force is generated by the ventricles when it is pumps the blood into the arteries is called as systolic pressure. What is that one? Systolic pressure. Okay, the force that is generated by the ventricle when they pumps the blood into the arteries is called as systolic pressure. And when the ventricles are emptied at the time, the pressure is dropped in that ventricles. That pressure is called as diastolic pressure. What? Diastolic pressure. Normally for the healthy person, the means normal systolic pressure for the healthy human being is 120 mm per Hg. 120 mm per Hg, and the diastolic pressure for the healthy person, diastolic pressure for the healthy person is approximately equals to the 80 mm per Hg. 80 mm per Hg. So the normal BP means normal blood pressure for the healthy person is 120 by 80 mm per Hg. So the upper reading indicates the systolic pressure. So that is equals to the 120 mm per Hg, and the lower reading indicates the diastolic pressure. So its normal reading equals to the 80 mm per Hg. So the normal BP for the healthy person is 120 by 80 mm per Hg. Okay, this is about that one blood pressure. So you know that one the blood pressure is varies when we perform certain activities. So normally our blood pressure is low when we are in that rest state, means nothing but while we are not performing any activity, so means nothing but that is called as resting state. So the blood pressure is slightly increases when we are walking, running, jogging, etc. So sometimes in some persons the blood pressure is increases in resting phase also. At the time, that condition is called as hypertension. Okay, sometimes in some people the blood pressure of the resting phase also increases. Okay, sometimes in some people the blood pressure in the resting phase also increases. That condition is called as nothing but high blood pressure or high BP or hypertension. High BP, high blood pressure or hypertension. So normally in medically, when the person have the blood pressure 140 above the 140 by 80, that person is said to be hypertensive person. Hypertensive persons. Okay, so in medically we can say that one those people have blood pressure more than the 140 by 80 mm per Hg, that persons are said to be hypertensive. Okay, in sometimes in some people the blood pressure also increases in the resting phase. At the time, that condition is called as hypertension or high blood pressure or high BP. Okay, what are the reason for the high blood pressure? So the one is nothing but genetics. Some means nothing but in some families the blood pressure, high blood pressure is repeated from one generation to the another generation by genetically. That is the one reason. The second one is nothing but obesity. Means baga lavuga undadam. Means nothing but those people are obese. That people have more chances to have high blood pressure or hypertension. Why? Because nothing but in obesity people the level of cholesterol are very more. So at the time the more cholesterol is accumulated in the blood vessels, so that increases the blood pressure. So those people have more weight, that people should reduce weight to become healthy. Second, the third reason is nothing but lack of physical exercise. Means nothing but some people have habit always they are doing work by sitting only. They are not performing any activities. In some cases, there may be chance of increasing blood pressure. Not only that one, you have to take that one. Another reason is nothing but higher salt intake. Nowadays, most of the people are habituated to take that one junk food, such as that one potato chips and fried material and high fat materials. So according to the international standards, the adult must take salt lower than the 5 grams. Means Satyam, if you take 3 grams are good for your health, we can say that one. But you should not exceed the salt usage more than the 5 grams. Okay, you should take 3 grams is more beneficial for you. So as we take more salt, it slightly increases your blood pressure. So the higher salt intake also one of the major reason for the high blood pressure or hypertension. tension. Next, another reason is nothing but mental stress. What? Mental stress. So, some people are afraid when they are facing some problems and goes in depression. So, so we oftenly take tensions. At the time it leads to have hypertension or high blood pressure. So try to adopt the methods such as yoga or meditation to avoid that one mental stress. Okay, so this is about that one hypertension. So the hypertension also, when the hypertension is very more at the time, it leads to that one severe problem such as that heart attack also. What? Heart attack also. Okay, so that's why we have to keep our blood pressure lower the means 120 by 80 only. Next, another condition is nothing but hypotension. Means nothing but low blood pressure. Low blood pressure. So in some people that have the blood pressure lower than the 90 by 60 mm per Hg. Okay, medically, when the persons or the people have the blood pressure lower than the 90 by 80, that people should consider as hypotensive, means nothing but low blood pressure. So, what is the reason for the low blood pressure? So, means nothing but when you stand continuously for a long period of time, it is also leads to that one hypotension. Not only that one, less nutrient diet, that also leads to that one hypotension. And in some of the diseases also triggers that one hypotension. So you have to maintain the proper blood pressure to maintain our fit body. Okay, this is about that one what? Blood pressure. Next topic, children, is about that one coagulation of blood. What? Coagulation of blood. So the coagulation of blood is nothing but blood clotting. Means nothing but raktam gadda katte prakriya. Okay, coagulation of blood or blood clotting process. You know that one, children, when we are injured or wounded, at the time the blood will come out from the injured part or wound. In normal conditions or in healthy person, normally the blood will coagulate within 3 to 6 minutes. In normal conditions, the blood will coagulate in 3 to 6 minutes. After 3 to 6 minutes, the flow of blood is stopped from the injured part, and a solid reddish colored material is accumulated on the surface of the injured part or wound. Okay, now when the cut is occur or when we are injured, at the time the blood is continuously comes from the wound up to 3 to 6 minutes. After that one, the bleeding will be stopped, and the reddish solid material will be accumulated on the surface of the wound. This prevents the further loss of the blood from the wound. So, in the coagulation of the blood, in the coagulation of the blood, the platelets play very important role. Okay, so in the coagulation of blood or blood clotting process, which blood cells play important role? The blood platelets play very important role. If the platelets are not present, even the slight wound occur, there may be chance of loss of blood of total body. It leads to the death of the person. That's why here the platelets play very important role in the blood coagulation process. So normally when the cut or wound occur, at the time the platelets which are present in our body release one enzyme called as thrombokinase. Which enzyme? Thrombokinase. When the cut occur or wound takes place in our body, immediately the platelets that are present in our blood react and release one of the enzyme called as thrombokinase. Which enzyme? Thrombokinase. Okay. Next, this thrombokinase reacts upon the enzyme that is released by the platelets, that is thrombokinase. Okay. This thrombokinase enzyme acts upon another material called as prothrombin. What? Prothrombin. And convert the prothrombin into thrombin. And convert the prothrombin as thrombin. Okay. So, the thrombokinase enzyme acts upon the another substance called as prothrombin and converts the prothrombin into thrombin, and this thrombin substance and this thrombin substance acts upon the fibrin. What? Fibrin, and changed into that one solid material. And this fibrin fibers are attached to the edges of the wounds. This fibrin fibers are attached to the edges of the wound and completely seal the wound and form a network-like structures. So, in this way, the blood clotting process takes place. In this way, the blood clotting process takes place. So, in the coagulation of blood, the K vitamin plays very important role. So, if the K vitamin is not there at the time, the blood is not coagulate in proper time. Okay, the K vitamin is not there, the blood will not coagulate in proper time. Okay, so not only that one, in some people due to some genetic disorders and because of the deficiency of K vitamin, in some people because of that one deficiency of K vitamin and genetic disorder, the blood will not coagulate in a proper time. Okay, because of that one K vitamin deficiency and genetic disorders, because of the K vitamin deficiency and genetic disorder, the blood will not coagulate in a proper time. So, this type of genetic disorder is called as hemophilia. What? This type of genetic disorder is called as what? Hemophilia. In hemophilia people, the blood will not coagulate in proper time. In hemophilia patients, the blood will not coagulate in proper time. And some people also suffer from one of the problem or disease called as nothing but thalassemia. What? Thalassemia. in thalassemia patients, the hemoglobin level is very less. Okay, in thalassemia patients, the hemoglobin percentage is very less, and normally they are very weak and they have very thin bones. Thin bones means nothing but సన్నటి ఎముకలు ఉంటాయి. And you know that one, the people who are suffer with thalassemia show poor body growth and requires frequent blood transfusion. అంటే తప్పనిసరిగా 15 డేస్కి ఒకసారి రక్తం ఎక్కించవలసి అవసరం అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో నార్మల్లీ ఇన్ ద వరల్డ్ పాపులేషన్ నియర్ అబౌట్ 4.5% ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ సఫర్ ఫ్రమ్ దట్ వన్ thalassemia disease. This is also one of the genetic disorder. So not only that one, in that thalassemia also two types are there, alpha thalassemia and beta thalassemia. Normally according to the international standards, per liter of blood compulsory the healthy person should have 115 grams to the 200 grams of hemoglobin. Suppose the hemoglobin percentage is low, the oxygen and nutrients are not sufficiently supplied to the body parts. So at the time we can face a severe problem. So nowadays in society so many people have this type of diseases, so they require the frequent blood transfusion, and the successful treatment for this thalassemia is nothing but stem cell technique, means nothing but treatment. So మూలకణ చికిత్స. So this is about the thalassemia. Okay children, thank you.